Welcome everyone, this is Zozo StockWatch, and this is your StockWatch list for Thursday, November 2nd. So let's go ahead and get right into the news that happened after the bell. All right, and I'll scroll back here. We had quite a few earnings after the bell, so I just want to go through these real fast. We had Facebook, Tesla, and all those big names report earnings after the bell. First one up was FEYE, FireEye. And I believe they beat, but stock went down anyway. So that's a FireEye earnings per share and revenue beat on FireEye. Next up, we had Qualcomm with an earnings per share and revenue beat on Qualcomm. And that stock kind of up in the after hours. It popped a little bit, and so now it's kind of flagging in the after hours on Qualcomm. Angie had some news after the bell. Let's check that on our after hours chart. Not much action there. Yelp had earnings after the bell, YELP, and that stock dropped and then it recovered on Yelp. Facebook, like I said, that had earnings after the bell, and the stock popped, and then they went on their conference call, and the stock is currently at the lows in the after hours on Facebook. Fitbit also had earnings after the bell. They popped it, and now it's trading down near the lows on Fitbit. GoPro, they had earnings after the bell, and the stock just dropped straight down on GoPro. Next one, Yelp is warning, so that's why Yelp was down. Yelp doing a warning there. GoPro was earnings per share and revenue beat, so I'm not sure why that stock was down. We'll see if they tell us in the Trade Exchange newsroom. Gurn had earnings after the bell, GERN, Gurnron. That stock was down after the bell. ZAG, raising their outlook on ZAG. Not much action in that after the bell. And let's see what else was there. MET. That's a big name, had earnings after the bell, ticking up a little bit in after hours. Cake, earnings per share and revenue miss on Cake, and that stock was down in the after hours on Cake. OXY, an oil name, they had earnings after the bell. Stock is popping a little bit in the after hours. XPO, earnings per share and revenue beat. Stock, don't really see much action in it after hours, so we'll see on that one tomorrow. Tesla, like we said, had earnings, and that stock down big in the after hours on Tesla. Earnings per share miss and revenue beat. So earnings per share miss, revenue beat on Tesla right here. And we'll scroll down, see if any other big earnings came out. Let's see, Under Armour marketing chief, head of women's business to leave. Let's see, Shaq, was that up after their earnings? Shaq did pop after their earnings and then pulled back on SHAK. Fate had earnings after the bell, and that stock popped a little bit in the after hours on their earnings. Cake we talked about already. MX is a semiconductor name, and that stock beat by 5 cents, beat on revenue, and stock was up a little bit in the after hours. WSTL was up a little bit in the after hours on their earnings. MRO, another oil name, MRO. That stock up a little bit in the after hours. XTNT enters into distribution agreement, so XTNT. That stock was up in the after hours on XTNT. Let's see if there was any other bigger earnings that came out. L Brands, LB, up to $48 in the after hours, so nice pop there on LB. Zen had earnings after the bell. ZEN popped a little bit on ZEN. And let's see, keep scrolling. As you can see, there was a lot of earnings after the bell. RAIL, R-A-I-L, sorry, that popped a little bit in the after hour. Freight Car America, so RAIL trading up near $19 in the after hours on that name. And let's see, here's some earnings that are coming out after the close on Thursday. Apple is the big one for Thursday. All right, so Apple will be reporting after the bell on Thursday, and then you can see the other names here, some of the earnings before the bell, and you see a whole wide range of stocks reporting before the bell tomorrow. Later in the evening, we had VMC, Vulcan Materials, earnings per share in line, and then we had RGLD. They had earnings, and that stock looks like it's up, bidding up maybe on our gold. So we'll check that one out tomorrow. And then we had some after hours insider purchases, MMC, NSEC, IART, UFI, MNI, IDMZ, and SXCP. All right. So once again, Facebook down in the after hours, grinding lower in the after hours. And we'll just take a quick look at the SPY in the after hours, and bounced off the lows here a little bit, but SPY showing some weakness in the after hours and kind of grinding down all day today on SPY. Hey, so come join me next week on Tuesday, the 7th of October. I'm going to be doing a webinar. It's going to start at 5:30. And this is the sign up page. I'll put this down in the description link. It's next Tuesday at 5:30. That's November 7th. And if you forget, you can just go to my Twitter feed and you see the owl sitting on the pen. Cute, right? And you can see the owl sitting on the pen, and you can just click on this link here. And the webinar starts Tuesday, the 7th. Will be on Tuesday, the 7th of November, and it starts at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And just go to this link. It's pinned to my Twitter feed. I also put it out there on StockTwits, the same little owl. And you can just sign up there if you're follow me on StockTwits, or like I said, you can go to Twitter and you can hit that link, and you'll see this come up, and then you can just enter your email, name, and you'll be invited into the swing trade webinar for the 7th of November, and that's at 5:30 p.m. So let's see what we have on deck for tomorrow, for Thursday, the 2nd of November. Let's see, at 8:30 we have initial jobless claims. We have the Challenger job cut report at 7:30 a.m. 8:30 we have productivity cost. 10:30 we have nat gas numbers. UNG is the ETF there. We do have some Fed speak tomorrow. William Dudley, Fed speak also at 6:15 p.m. Tonight I don't see any numbers coming out from Japan. Don't forget Friday we have the non-farm payrolls number coming out. They call it the employment situation, and that's at 8:30 a.m. on Friday the 3rd. So that's the big number coming out for Friday at 8:30, and then some more Fed speak Friday. So we'll see how they want to close the week. And as I showed you earlier with the earnings, Apple will be reporting earnings Thursday after the bell. Here's your earnings for Friday. If you want a little bit of a jump start, there's not too much. And that's your earnings for Friday. All right, let's go ahead and check out what was hopping. And this is courtesy of the Trade Exchange. They mail this out each night. Top gainers for the trading day. We had XNET, VRML, BBG, EMES, SKLN, BGFV, CVRR, CVI, EL, SMI, LCI, BPMC. On the losing side, EVHC, PBI, CRTO, DDD, and that was their earnings miss there. MNTA, Form, OMI, ENT, ANF, LFUS. And then for the call activity, courtesy of the Trade Exchange, call and unusual put activity. And I'll scroll down to that. For the call activity side, we had AABA, AXON, HAIN, HZNP, KHC, MPLX, MRO, RCI, VRX, WFC. To the put side activity, unusual put activity, AKS, BX, CTL, F, Ford, LPX, S, SGEN, and the VIX itself. So that's some of your unusual call activity and unusual put activity. If we go ahead and look at the futures real fast, we have the futures down about 6, S&P futures down about 3, and the NASDAQ futures down about 11 at this hour. Gold is down about 79 cents in gold, and WTI 54.23 on WTI. For your earnings calls for tomorrow, and I'll open this up and get you on the right date there. For Thursday, you can see all the earnings calls. Teva will be on an earnings call, big name there. Yum Brands also will be on a conference call, and I'll just scroll through these quickly. And you can just see all the different earnings calls. And this is a courtesy of Earnings Cast. So throughout the day, there'll just be a ton of earnings for tomorrow. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at some markets today. SPY once again held at 5 EMA today and trying to break out over the highs here of that 258.31 spot. We got as high as 258.43 today, and our low on the SPY was 257.07 for the SPY. If we go ahead and look at the Qs, a little bit of weakness there, but they came in and bought it. We're right back up at near the highs here around that 153, 152 area on the QQQ. IWM didn't fare as well, kind of a little bit of an engulfing candle here, but still stays in this range of 147.25 up to about 150. So the IWM, pulling back, held above that 148 level on the close on the IWM. Go ahead and look at the IWC, similar, but this one still holding this 93 spot, but below the 20 SMA currently on the IWC. If we look at the IBB, this is not looking so hot, all right, but we are battling to hold this 150 SMA, and we're also trying to hold the lows here of about 311.51. We'll go ahead and call it 312. So 312 right now is a very important level. 312, 311 for the IBB. So let's keep an eye on that. And IBB is not looking very good. SMH, though, on the other hand, continued up, and the buyers came in off of this 5 EMA, the dotted yellow line you see here. So the SMH is still holding up well. Let's go ahead and take a look at some individual names. Once again, NVIDIA powering up, Micron Technologies moving up, MU. So NVIDIA strong, MU strong. We'll also take a look at Intel, and that one just keeps popping and moving up. So very nice move here by Intel. And so the semiconductors are still very strong. AVGO, this one bounced off the 5 EMA today on AVGO. That's the Broadcom stock, and that one bounced off of the 5 EMA on AVGO. Next up, let's take a look at we'll take a look at gold real fast. We'll take a look at gold and just to see if we had any reaction. We did get a pop today a little bit in gold, but it gave it right back. Silver fared a little bit better, SLV. That one popped and held most of the gains, trying to get back above the 10 SMA here on the SLV ETF. Next up, we'll take a look at JNUG. All right, we'll look at JNUG, and right now JNUG is unable to get above $16 a share. It's trying to get above 16, but it keeps getting sold off at that $16 level, around that 16.10 level. So right now JNUG not looking so great. Next up, we will take a look at USO, and a little bit of pullback in the USO, but it's had a nice run and still holding the 5 EMA here on the USO. We actually had found buyers at that 5 EMA on the USO. UNG, this one is looking ugly and uglier every day, and UNG just headed down more on the UNG. XLF, I don't think I've talked about the XLF in a while, so we'll take a look at that. Still maintaining, above the 13 EMA, above the 5 EMA, above the fast moving averages on the XLF, and trying to get back over this 27 area here on the XLF. And lastly, we'll just take a quick look at We will look at lastly, what should we look at lastly? Social. We'll just look at social, the ETF here. Now this will probably be down with what's going on with Facebook in the after hours tonight as it's trending down. So SOCL, even with the likes of Twitter being strong, and actually a 3-stick pullback here in Twitter down to the 5 EMA. So we'll see if Twitter wants to carry the weight, or is this going to head down with a Facebook? Looks like it kind of gave some away in the after hours tonight on Twitter. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll get into the watch list. First up is actually going to be an old stodgy one, possible swing trade here in Cisco. If we can break out and over this highs of this candle here, 34.75 may lead to the break of 35 on Cisco. So that's kind of a swing trade idea there. DFS, another swing trade idea. Possible if we can get up over the highs of 67.18. So keep your eye on DFS for possible continuation move here for a swing trade. EMES, sorry, big volume today. They had earnings today and the stock popped. It's trying to hold this $8 area on EMES. So this could be a possible swing trade too now that the earnings are out of the way. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. If it can get back over maybe $8.25 for a possible swing trade or day trade. Groupon, the one that worries what I'm worried about on this Groupon, he tried to say, is we have this 200 SMA right here. We've hit it once before and we pulled back. So I have to kind of see, and this is the weekly chart you're looking at, we have to kind of see what this next candle is going to do. We have to be aware that that 200 SMA is up there at 524 on the weekly chart for Groupon. So, we have a high here of 533. We have another high of 534. So I'll keep my eye on it. It gapped up after earnings, but like I said, that 200 SMA is kind of right there. So we'll see on that one. HIMX, we spoke about this in the previous videos. We came off this 100 SMA. Nice candle here today, 6.7 million. Let's see if we can get up over, maybe 1095 for possible swing trade in this name. HMNY, just strictly day trading this right now. We got a nice 22 cent gain in this one in an afternoon trade, so very nicely done there with HMNY. HTGM, they had news. I think it was an 8K or something like that, something to do with Bristol Myers, and the stock, it popped, but it kind of gave back most of the gains in the after hours, so not a favorite there. ICON, let's see if this one wants to bounce. I had a trigger here of 203 late in the day, and it never took it out. So we'll see if this one wants to set up maybe for a possible reversal. Shorts made their money. They have to come in and cover at some point. Has a high of 215, so we'll see if we can get a play in that. IZEA, I should say, IZEA. This one, nice candle here today, trying to break out over that 4. Just note that 20 SMA is right there at 413. So we'll see if this one wants to get going tomorrow. I notice in the after hours it's trading up at 405, and I just kind of noticed that right now. So we'll see if we can get some kind of setup in IZEA. JNUG we talked about already. KBH, strong home builder here, trying to see if it can take out the top of this candle, 27.73. Now it's had a big run, so I might be looking at this for a possible day trade for tomorrow or the next day. We'll see. LBIX had a big pop today. 14 million shares came into this. No news that I could find on this name, so no news at all. But you see this topping tail here, so we'll see if it sets up intraday. LINU, a little bit of a pop here, 1.1 million shares. The high today on LINU was 193. Let's see if it can get over, that 195 spot and then maybe break 2 for a possible day trade. LLNW, came out of this consolidation and now starting to break out, 1.6 million shares. So we'll see if there's a possible trade in LLNW. MTBC. We had the high today of 343, so maybe 345 is enough to kind of break that 350 spot or wait for the 350 spot. NBEV had news this morning, and the stock had 1 million shares traded in it. The high was 285. We closed at 275. So we'll see if this one wants to maybe give us a swing trade in this name, NBEV. Netflix, even with the House of Cards being canceled right now, the stock is holding above the 10 SMA. Looks like it needs to break out, over this 201 spot on Netflix. ONCS. This one had 2.3 million shares traded in it. The high today was 121. So we're looking for that like 125 break on ONCS to see if that one wants to move. We actually traded this one in the service today, ZozoStockWatch.com, and we got a nice move out of it, like a 10, 12 cent move. And then we just couldn't get any more continuation, but I'll have it on watch again for tomorrow. It was one of our front burner stocks. And so we'll see if we get any kind of setup in that one. Schlumberger, taking its sweet time here. And I'm going to see if I can get another entry on this Schlumberger. It is holding above 64. We were in it. We did a swing trade in it. We got about 60, 70 cents out of it on a swing trade. So now I'm looking to see if I can get back in because RIG had earnings tonight, and that stock was up in after hours on their earnings. So we'll see. Schlumberger is the leader of the oil services sector, which is the OIH. So we'll see if Schlumberger wants to maybe make a move. VRML. Nice pop in the name, 1.2 million shares. We'll see how this sets up intraday on VRML, WFT, an oil name. And, this one kind of looks like EMES. So we'll see if there's any kind of setup here for a possible play. And lastly, WPRT, kind of this, move back up, trying to get over that 375 spot. Got as high as 382. So maybe over 375 might be enough for this one for possible day trade. 1.7 million shares came into the name today. All right, so that's the watch list for Thursday, November 2nd. Don't forget, I'll be doing that webinar next week on Tuesday, the 7th, November 7th at 5:30 Eastern Time. Just go to my Twitter feed at ZozoStockWatch, or you can go to my StockTwits feed at ZozoStockWatch, and you'll see the sign-up link there for the webinar. Be glad to have you, and we'll be talking about swing trading, all right, at the webinar. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being members, and thank you for watching this now or in the future. All right, take care.